Have you ever stopped and wondered what makes a self-driving car, well, see, or how your phone can possibly understand what you're saying? Well, the answer is actually simpler and way more fundamental than you might think. Today, we're diving into the secret ingredient of artificial intelligence, data.
This quote from our source material really just gets right to the heart of it. You see, without data, an AI is kind of like a brain in a box. It has all this incredible potential, but absolutely no way to experience, perceive, or learn anything about the world.
So that brings up a really important question, right? What exactly is data when we're talking about AI, and how does a machine take that data and actually use it to make sense of our world in a way that's, well, meaningful? Okay, let's break it all down. Here's a great way to think about it. Data is basically an AI's senses. You know, just like we use our eyes and our ears to gather information about what's going on around us, an AI uses different types of data as the raw input that lets it see, hear, and ultimately understand reality.
So in this explainer, we're going to explore the three fundamental senses that pretty much every modern AI relies on: the cold, hard logic of numbers, the rich, nuanced meaning of text, and the vibrant, complex patterns found within images.
First up, let's talk about the most fundamental language of any computer: numbers. This is the most direct and structured way for an AI to quantify and process the world around it.
Numeric data is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's any piece of information that can be represented by a number. And, this is the key part, it follows predictable mathematical rules. Not structure is what makes it so incredibly powerful for an AI.
And you run into this kind of data all the time. Think about it. The temperature outside, the price of a stock, your age, how fast you're driving, these are all examples of clean, unambiguous data that an AI can process with perfect clarity.
And this is where you really see the power of numeric data. Because numbers follow these consistent rules, an AI can chew through them with incredible speed and accuracy. This lets it spot super subtle patterns and even make predictions, like forecasting sales based on last year's performance. But of course, our world isn't just made of simple, structured numbers, right? When we move from numeric data to text, like you see here, we're introducing a whole new level of complexity. We're not just dealing with simple values anymore. We're talking about grammar, context, and all the messy nuances of meaning.
So that brings us to our second AI sense: language. This is where AI has to move beyond simple math and really start to grapple with the rich, complicated, and powerful way that we humans communicate. And the amount of text data out there is just enormous. I mean, we're talking about everything from a simple tweet or text message all the way to the massive collections of knowledge in books, scientific articles, and yeah, pretty much the entire internet.
So how in the world does a machine make sense of all this? Well, it all comes down to a specialized field of AI called natural language processing, or NLP for short. This is the tech that gives computers the ability to read, analyze, and even generate human language. And hey, this isn't some futuristic sci-fi concept. You literally use NLP every single day. When you ask your smart assistant a question, or talk to a customer service chatbot, or use an app to translate a sign in another country, that's all NLP. That's the power of text data in action.
Okay, so we've moved from numbers to words. Now let's talk about how AI processes what we see. It's time to explore the AI's sense of sight: image data.
So, let's ask a really fundamental question here. When an AI system recognizes your face in a photo, what is actually happening? How does a machine that only understands numbers truly see a human face?
The answer is, well, it's simple, but it's also kind of profound. The computer doesn't see a face at all. It doesn't see a car or a cat or a tree. It only sees a grid made up of millions of tiny colored dots we call pixels.
And that is the key insight. Each and every one of those pixels is really just another piece of numeric data. It's a single point in the image with a numerical value assigned to its specific color and its specific brightness. For an AI, an image is basically just a giant spreadsheet of numbers.
So by analyzing the numerical values of millions of these pixels, their colors, their brightness, how they relate to each other, an AI can actually learn to identify the complex patterns that we recognize as objects, faces, and even entire scenes. It's all just math.
Okay, so we've got numbers, we've got text, and we've got images. But where things get really interesting, the real magic of modern AI is when it doesn't just rely on one sense, but combines all of them to create a much richer, more complete picture of the world.
A self-driving car is the perfect example of this.
Its sensors are feeding it a constant stream of numeric data about its speed and how far it is from other objects. At the exact same time, its cameras are processing image data to recognize other cars, people, and traffic lights. And on top of all that, it's using text data from maps to read street signs and follow directions. And that right there is the essence of modern AI. By combining all of its senses, the AI becomes exponentially more intelligent and more accurate. Each type of data provides another piece of the puzzle, and together, they create this comprehensive, almost three-dimensional view of reality.
So, why does all this matter to you? Well, because if you're working with AI in any capacity, understanding the data you're using is always the first and, honestly, the most critical step. It's what determines the AI models, the virtual brains you can build, the algorithms, the learning recipes you use to train them, and at the end of the day, your ability to build a successful system.
And this brings us to a final, really crucial thought. An AI is just a direct reflection of the data we feed it. We've just seen how it perceives the world through numbers, text, and images. So the real question we have to ask ourselves now is, what do we want it to learn, and what kind of world do we want to show it?